You know what? This is weird for me to even be talking about this. Let's bring in a woman's perspective. And Hicks, this is another one of Pepper's picks.
Sure, Loretta Watkins.
Loretta Watkins is going to come in and give us a woman's perspective.
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner.
Well, she's coming in, but very slowly.
She always knows her place. She's
nice
got style, she's got grace. She's
walk. Boy, that's one of the straightest walks I've ever seen in my life. Here she is, today's co-host, Loretta Watkins.
Thank you, boys, for having me here.
Loretta, did you hear any of the stuff that we were talking about?
I was able to pick up some of it from the booth. I I was hoping I wouldn't be in a booth filled with boys, but that's what happened.
Loretta, by the way, Loretta not using a voice at all today. Just very uncomfortable, the same voice. So, Loretta, you're a woman. What is it that women are attracted to?
Well, I've been hearing men get a lot of bad raps during this conversation. And, pardon my French, but the a-holes...
That's not French.
That they've talked about?
Yeah.
See, I see that as a totally different thing. I see that as a man who's decisive.
Right.
And that's what women want.
I can't hear you. You're very, very...
That's what women want.
Okay, that's better. Women want a decisive man.
A man who knows exactly what he wants. A Dominic Strauss-Kahn, for example.
Well, that's an alleged rapist.
Someone who knows exactly what he wants and is going to make the decision.
By the way, have you seen the French girl that's accusing him of rape? She is my new obsession. All right, so what else are men doing wrong? What else is a Zito doing wrong?
Well, there's the sort of thing where he said, you know what, I don't take no for an answer.
Right.
Where he does take no.
Right.
You know, to me, I like a guy who just keeps on trying and trying. If he pulled up, threw me in the trunk of his car, bound and gagged me, and took me out because he's that into me, I would appreciate it.
So your problem is men aren't aggressive enough.
That's exactly where I stand. I like a guy.
I can't hear you very well.
I like a guy.
Okay, I got you now.
Who is going to make the choices.
Right.
I don't want to have to be somebody who's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. He's coming home. What am I going to make for dinner?
I'm fucking starving.
You know, I want to know that this is what my man likes, and it's prepared, and it's ready. If he decides I can eat at the table with him, fine. That's just more gravy on the meatloaf.
All right, so, no, that's not even a good picture for her. Just do her thing, get her name, and then look at different shots of her.
I just found her name.
Because that's a fucking ugly shot. Now I look like an idiot. John in Georgia, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron, were you all supposed to speak up? I can't hear him.
Well, Loretta is here today, and she... Am I wrong when I say this, Loretta? You're a traditional woman?
Very, very traditional. Very prim, very proper.
What part of the country are you from?
The Northern Virginia area.
Oh, Northern Virginia, so... Fairfax, I guess.
Fairfax County, yes.
Yeah. So...
I've been dating an adjunct professor at George Mason University for quite a few years.
Well, it's interesting that you don't even have an accent, and you're a Southern gal. Let's go over here to Sean. Sean, you're on a Fez.
You take classes to get rid of those sort of things.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, I was wondering, why do you keep calling Dr. Michio Kaku Loretta?
That's not the doctor. So, Loretta, first of all, welcome. Now,
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you could give us tips or anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'll tell you, there is just so many women in the news right now. There's of course, oh, I hate to even say this word.
Say it.
Rape case.
Right.
The rape case against Dominic Strauss-Kahn is
We've already
falling apart in New York.
Right.
And I just think women have to quit calling every little thing rape.
Well, I understand. It's the same bit, though.
Yes.
I have a question for Loretta.
Well, don't ask.
Okay.
Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Mike.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Ron, I'm not sure if I can take advice from Loretta. She sounds like a tranny.
Well, I would not use the word tranny, but wearing a very long kind of a 70s granny dress and didn't even take the time to put on a wig. So, Loretta, anything else that we haven't already talked about that has your interest?
Well,
Maybe something fresh and new.
Yeah, the Octomom says she despises her children.
Oh, yeah, she hates those kids.
She hates the babies now.
Right.
Well, that's because women, we shouldn't let our bodies...
I can't hear her.
Women shouldn't let their
Right.
bodies become livestock.
Okay.
You know, where it's just piglets being born.
So you're more traditional. You like to go back the way it used to be.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. Yes, and a traditional thing is not a nice guy.
No, it isn't.
When, over the centuries,
Right.
have men been nice? It just doesn't
Until
happen.
the Hun wasn't a nice guy, and he did well.
No, maybe you have
He did
to...
well.
Maybe Lincoln, but look what happened to him.
I don't know. I didn't really find out what happened to him.
Sure.
I heard he left office early.
Yes, very early into his second term.
What was that play he was saying?
It was My American Cousin.
Okay, that's great. Let's get over here to Chris. Chris, you're on Manifest.
Hey, Loretta, do you like to get pounded in your ass until you're shitting blood
All right,
from your
let's
husband?
serious. That's not right.
First of all, I don't care for the language. Secondly, I feel that's the man's choice.
Right.
If I'm going to get pounded anywhere, I think that should be up to the man. In the bedroom, the wife has two responsibilities.
Right.
That is to make sure that the sheets are clean and that her body's clean.
That's it.
That's it. And then the man makes the decisions from there.
You like the men to make the decisions.
Absolutely. I think that's the way to go.
All right, what else is out there that is interest to you? Maybe you've written down something.
I heard you talking earlier about this hot dog eating competition.
Yeah, we were talking about it this morning.
They had a women's division in that.
Right, you don't like that.
No, I think it's women trying to say, hey, look, we're just as good as the men folk. And I think that's a ridiculous statement
You don't
to
like
make.
it.
No, I would get rid of all women's sports.
No women's sports.
If it was up to me. I don't think it's very ladylike.
No. All right. Let's go over here to Ken. Ken, you're on the Run of Fest show.
Hey, Loretta, maybe I'm wrong here, but it sounds like you spent the weekend roofied and mouth fucked.
I hope not.
Oh.
Let's go over here to Turtle. Turtle, you're on Run of Fest. You're not even going to dignify that, huh, Loretta?
I will not.
I just saw you sit there, and I'm like, don't freeze, because you're doing really good. Let's go over here to Turtle. You're on Run of Fest.
Hey, buddy. Loretta, I think you sound sexy. I want to know, do you shave your pussy?
I don't even look at it. No, that's for the men to look at. I bathe blindfolded, and I just try to make sure
Smells like it.
the water is heated enough and everything is clean.
Joe, you're on the Run of Fest show.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah.
You are by far the best, but I really think you're going to have a tough time selling this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
This sounds like Fez in his natural state.
Well, at some point, we hope to get there. We hope that the experiment will take us to some of these places where we're at our most comfortable. I don't know, though. Let's go over here to Joe. Joe, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, I have a question for Marilyn Monroe.
That's not Marilyn
can you sing
Monroe.
the Happy Birthday to You song?
No, it's not Marilyn Monroe. Are you Loretta Watkins?
No, I'm Loretta Watkins.
Yeah.
I thought what Marilyn Monroe did to President Kennedy was just disgraceful.
Well, she didn't shoot him.
No, but just throwing herself basically at him.
No.
It's just wrong. His wife was right there.
Let's go over here, Matt. Matt, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, how you doing, Ronnie? Loretta, what's pussy taste like?
Oh, that's just a rude thing to say. Mark, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Loretta, I was curious. What do you think about the whole Chaz Bono thing?
I think that people are born who they are, and if Chaz had met the right guy, then Chaz wouldn't be a boy right now. I think it's all about meeting the right person. You need a man in your life, women. You need a man in your life.
Cam, you're on Manifest.
Yeah, I agree that the woman's place is in the home, and so I'm not sure what Loretta is doing out of the kitchen. I don't think she should be on the radio.
There is some truth to that, Loretta. What are you doing in here all highfalutin in your fancy gown?
Well, I just thought I would come in and give a women's perspective on some things. My boyfriend, the adjunct professor at George Mason, he's away at a seminar, so I thought this might be a chance to just come into the city and enjoy myself.
Have you and your meat hands been enjoying the... Why would you hide them as soon as I brought them up?
Because a lady's fingers are very personal to her.
Thick. Joey Chestnut, he could eat 62 of those.
Well, I say...
Hot dog fingers.
I say better for doing the dishes and the laundry.
Or cracking fucking walnuts.
I can hold a lot more plates that way.
Loretta Watkins in here with us today. Let's go over here to Jake. Jake, you're on Manifest.
Hey, man, Loretta sounds hot.
Yeah.
Question I had, speaking of hygiene, is how do you keep your special area down there? Is it neatly trimmed? Because I'm picturing like a big red hair muff.
I got news for you now. As far as I can see, it runs right up to her neck. And am I crazy, or are you showing really high nip there? What is that red mark right there high up?
Oh, you know how some people have a scalp condition where they pick at their scalp?
Yeah.
That's a spot I have on my chest.
I just pull it down a little bit so we can... And you're just always rubbing at that?
Crazy.
Boy, Loretta, if you were a fucking dog, we'd have to put one of those lampshades over your neck. Ralph, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Loretta, do you swallow cum?
That's seriously, that's rude. And this is a lady. Let's go over here to Chris.
Yeah, Ron, I can't help but notice that Loretta sounds like Fez, but with a manlier voice.
866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I hope things like this don't bother you, Loretta. I know you came in here in a certain point of view. You waited until you could jump into the show today. Been sitting here the whole time. You waited a little over 2 hours, but once you came in strong.
It's not a woman's place to be so pushy, Ron. I'm sorry, Mr. Bennington.
You can call me.
Sorry.
You can call me, Ron. I have no problem with that.
I'm not going... I just met you.
Anthony, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron, can I ask Alexis Arquette if she's pre-op or post-op?
I see, that's just cruel. Mark, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, is this another inner voice bit?
You know, Loretta is Loretta. I accept Loretta. I know, Hicks, you accept Loretta? You kind of like Loretta in your own way.
Oh, I love the Loretta. L-dubs.
I hope tomorrow's doesn't have such a W name.
No.
Brian, you're on Run and Fez.
Ronnie B, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hey, Loretta sounds kind of hot. I was hoping you could give us a little description on what the body looks like.
Well, just think of an older Brian Dennehy is the best way to describe her.
That is very sweet. Thank you. He's one of our classics.
Steve, you're on the Run and Fez show.
It's me, Fancy.
Oh, jeez. John, you're on the Run and Fez show.
It's Yahoo News, starring Jan Brady. See ya!
You know, we don't have to worry if it's closer to one impression or the other. Just let Loretta be Loretta. But anything else in the news that interests you, Loretta, Yahoo-wise?
Well, I saw a study that showed that women... I can't believe I'm saying these words. When they're on their menstrual cycle, when they're at their most fertile, that is when they become their most prejudiced.
Okay.
And they are suspicious of people of other races.
Right.
When they're at their most fertile. And I say, women, let's overcome that. Let's not be animals.
I couldn't even understand you. What did you say?
Let's not be animals.
Okay.
Let's not be animals in the field. Let's not let our periods drive our emotions.
You don't have to throw the quotes up there. A, we're on the radio, and B, you can just call it periods. It's not like
the way you people talk here.
Well, you're the one who said period.
I know, but it's to hear it coming from a man's voice.
What about Cunny Blood? Would that be easier for you?
No, that doesn't make it any easier.
Okay. You really are. You're somewhat prudish, I would say. Okay. AJ in Denver.
Just wanted to know if there's any relation to Hannibal Lecter and Loretta's family.
No, there's not. They're not. Let's go over here to Tony. You're on Run Fuzz.
Creepy.
Yeah, I know. It is. But so's the whole show. Not just now. Texts are coming in. Do you text people?
No, I don't have a cell phone.
John Mess, you're on Run Fuzz.
Yeah, well, Loretta's man be giving her a brutal beating today for being on the radio instead of the kitchen where she belongs.
Well, I'll let Loretta deal with that.
Well, this is the day where I'm not going over to the adjunct professor's home. So,
what exactly is an adjunct professor?
It's a professor who is there at the university, but not full-time on staff.
I see. Thanks. Any reason that you feel the need to keep telling us that detail? None, right?
I thought you had asked.
Yeah, but I mean, why do you keep bringing up what they do? Doesn't matter. Here's Mike. Mike in Louisiana.
Hey, Loretta, as a woman who knows her way around the kitchen, what is your opinion on the blueberry and its viability as a standalone fruit?
See, some of that's just cruel.
I would say get them as fresh as possible.
Ian, you're on the Run Fest show. Jeez. Frank, you're on the Run Fest show.
Yeah. Loretta Fez or Loretta?
Oh, jeez. I'm not going to take some of these. Why don't we break here? I'm going to try to, I think, take a Silkwood shower and just try to really get in deep and rub this all out of my skin. We are minutes away from the Casey Anthony verdict. Loretta, come on back in here. I tried to.
Yes.
You know, Loretta came in at an odd time and then came in before we expected her, then took about 45 minutes off. There was a very long quiet period before Loretta. She came in gangbusters, then took time off. What do you do when you just sit and watch like that, Loretta?
Well, I guess I just go over some recipes.
But didn't find any place to jump in during the G-Baby?
No, wasn't finding a spot there. Seemed like man talk.
Yeah. All right, seconds away, minutes away right now, Casey Anthony. This is one of those deals where people are going to say, maybe fight with co-workers, back and forth. I know Anthony is one of the few high-profile people who think is innocent. Check his Twitter page, by the way, too. I want to see if he's ready to tweet out on this. We might get a live from the compound tonight. Whether he's excited and happy about it or not. No way to keep up on there when they're coming back in? Because I got it. Oh, you can hear both? Very, very exciting times.
Oh,
yeah. Hicks, do you put yourself in with the victim, or do you see yourself as a defendant? You see yourself as a prosecutor? Where do you relate when you see something like this?
I put myself in the case of the defendant.
You always think of yourself as the one who committed the crime.
Sure, because I've been that not in a murder case, but I've been fucking State of New York versus Chris Stanley.
All right, this was a tweet by Anthony just a minute ago. Yes, not guilty on all charges. And then he's hashtagged it Casey Anthony.
Nice.
Let's bring it up. That's the jury sitting in, right? Let's bring it up a little bit so we can listen in.
That's the audience in the crowd.
That's just the audience.
That's her parents. That's George and Cindy Anthony in the very back row.
little Kaylee Anthony, her birthday just in the beginning of August, and basically everyone...
Can you imagine, pull it back now, pull it back. Could you imagine the way her chest is beating right now, knowing God. She's sitting and waiting to see whether she goes down? Bill, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, I got a question for Loretta. Is she a great big fat person?
I think I'm at a healthy weight.
Here we go.
So go ahead, Dave.
Well, they've had a room set up here in the courthouse for those jurors for days now that we may be finding out very soon what they're going to do.
Yep. Okay. So the judge, let's see. Let's take a listen. Let's keep quiet for a second. Here we go.
It's been brought to my attention that the jury has reached a verdict. State?
The state's ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Defense?
Defense is ready.
To those in the gallery, please do not express any signs of approval or disapproval.
Yes!
Upon the reading of the verdict.
Woo!
Let's return the jury.
Oh, jury. So nerve-wracking.
Oh, God.
Jury is wandering in. This is nerve-wracking.
I don't even know how she's standing.
No. And why is she wearing a tuck shirt?
She should be wearing that slut gear.
Stop with the slut. It happened once. Is that the jury staring at him? How could you look at somebody after you decided their fucking fate, too?
All right, just looking at this, those are the lead detectives.
State recognized president of the jury.
We do, Your Honor.
And does the defense.
Yes, sir, we do.
I don't recognize these people.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's not the same people that were here yesterday.
Would you hand the verdict form to the court, Deputy?
Holy shit! Look at that simian-faced bitch. She doesn't know what to do.
Eyes are so sunken in.
Give her a goddamn orange peel.
She thought she was going to get a few more days of this.
He's reading it over. Mouth-breathed motherfucker. How many fucking pages is this? He's just trying to fucking erase the knot on guilty. Hey. I'm going to ask you one more time if you still going to come back in here and do that. He's so...
Will the defendant rise along with counsel?
No, don't. Run out, honey. Run out, Casey.
Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdicts.
Thank you, Judge.
Don't put it online, Judge.
In the Circuit Court for the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all. Dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011. Signed for person. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Holy shit!
Dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011. Signed for person. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Holy shit!
So say we all. Dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011. Signed for person. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment.
Oh, there goes the sweep.
So say we all. Dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011. Signed for person. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 5. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all. Dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 6. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false
You can't fuck up on these, honey.
No
law
take back.
enforcement officers charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict is to count 7. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
Madam Clerk, you may poll the jury.
Juror number 1, were these your true and correct verdicts? Pardon? Juror number 1, were these your true and correct verdicts? Not guilty. Were they all your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Juror number 2, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 3, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 4, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 5, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 6, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 7, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 8, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 10, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 11, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror
So
number
basically what they got her on, and we'll try to listen to a little more of this, but it looks like what they got her on was being a lion dog. There she is hugging around and crying. Bring it back up a little bit.
Not all the counsel, but just representative sample.
They're swinging her big tits back out of the room now, and she seems like she's ecstatic. I mean, if she's got to do sometime,
JC,
she could do it standing on her head.
Jury of your peers having found you not guilty as to the charge contained in count 1 of the indictment, murder in the first degree. At this time, I will adjudge you to be not guilty. As to count 2, the crime of aggravated child abuse, a jury of your peers having found you to be not guilty, the court will adjudge you to be not guilty of the crime contained in count 2. As to count 3, aggravated manslaughter of a child, a jury of your peers having you found you not guilty, I will adjudge you to be not guilty of that count. As to counts 4, 5, 6, and 7, providing false information to a law enforcement officer, I will adjudge you to be guilty of those counts in order that you be fingerprinted here in open court at this time.
You'd think they'd have those fingerprints on file by now.
So there she goes. I wish that we could hear, what is her name, Nancy Grace or whatever?
Yeah, she's the one covering it.
She'll be going, fuck it. She said this is a slam dunk. But of course, we can't get that on this fucking station. Let's see what he has to say now. You think the judge is pissed? Turtle-looking motherfucker. Look at him. Crawl back in your shell. Look at the prosecutors. Last night I had to hear what geniuses they were. There's only one genius. This is Anthony Cumia, who fucking called the shot from the beginning. Called it from the beginning.
Okay, Mr. Baez, Mr. Mason.
I love this southern shit.
Will you be prepared to go to sentencing Thursday or Friday of this week?
I don't give a fuck.
Bullshit charges.
Okay.
I just want to say fuck this jury and fuck everybody who came in here.
9 a.m. in this courtroom. Okay, are there any other matters that we need to take up at this time?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on behalf of the citizens of the 9th Judicial Circuit, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation for your service as jurors. You all residents of Pinellas County, Florida, and took you away from your families for a very extended period of time. And for that, I say thank you. As I told you when I first spoke with you, in talking about jury service, that one of the most important obligations of citizens.
All right, this is kind of fucking bizarre, but the reality of it is, in Florida, these people are going to go home and get fucking beat up by their family and neighbors. They probably had no idea how the media was playing this story out. And obviously, they didn't take a lot of time, a day and a half, to come up with this. James, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, this is just the first proof of simian mind control. The simian monkey girl, she used her mind control to confuse the jurors. The Planet of the Apes has begun.
Let me tell you something. You know, when people were acting like, oh, she got away with it. These jurors, and like I said, I didn't know very little about this trial. The only part of it I watched was the other day was the rebuttal to the defense, and I'm shocked in Florida. It just doesn't seem fair to me that the prosecution should get a rebuttal, and that's the end before the jurors go back in with it. But these jurors sat in there every day for 2 months and heard every fucking thing that you heard at home. And then 12 of them had to sit down and within not even a full day come up with somewhat of a complicated defense of 3 different, on the murder trial things, 3 not guilties, manslaughter, not guilty, and then on to say, yeah, she does lie to fucking cops, though. But give credit where it's due. It goes out to Ant right now. Ant has already thrown out an invitation to her to come to his house for a party. And she seems the type that would like to come. But if she's doing media and doesn't do the O&A show, she's out of her mind. Because no one has been on her fucking side as much as Ant has.
She better recognize.
Dino, you're on the Run of Fez show.
I knew she wasn't guilty the whole entire time, man.
You know what? You're not Ant. You don't get to hold that.
Nice try.
You don't fucking get to hold that. That's bullshit. Anthony was the only person in the media who believed this girl's innocence from the beginning. Now, she did get busted on the line to cops. Here's the 4 counts of giving false information to a law enforcement. Supposedly it's only up to a year on each count. That would be 4 years tops. There's the whole Casey family just hugging each other like when she was a little girl and everybody would hold tight and just be like, come here, let me get some. Turn it up a little bit.
Just moments after the verdict was read, Casey Anthony found not guilty on the most serious charges of murder, manslaughter, and child abuse. She was found guilty of lying to investigators. She will be serving time for those lies, but that is a misdemeanor, and it is a much shorter sentence. Just watch the reaction there of Casey Anthony. Jose Baez got a lot of criticism, saying he did not try this case well, but he got the outcome, the best possible outcome, it would seem, from the perspective of Casey Anthony. I want to go to our legal panel. We have a good one. We are working with Jeff Toobin, Holly Hughes.
I am so pissed I don't have Nancy Grace.
First of all, Jeff, there in New York, looking at her here.
I hope they're taping that for me at home. Here's our buddy, Fred Brooklyn. Fred.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, pal.
I got some inside information that she's been referring to the prosecutor as Blue Eyes throughout the entire trial. So I think there might be grounds for something going on here.
Were you surprised or not surprised, Fred?
From what I see on TV, I mean, it looked like she was guilty, but what could you do? I mean, I didn't see any definites. I mean, there was no guaranteed proof that she killed the baby. There was just a time lapse that the baby was missing, and They drag. You know, the smartest thing they did was dragging that cable guy, that guy who found her. He looked like he looked like a shady character. But,
yeah, that was. It was such a crazy story.
Yeah, the fact that the baby went missing for a month without her saying anything, that should have at least got child abuse. You know, at a minimum.
Yeah, it was a strange one. It was the strangest case. Let's go over here to John. John, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, Ronnie, do you think Anthony finds Casey even more attractive now because she got off of the murder charge, but she's guilty of lying, so that means she's the fucked up batshit chick?
I just think Anthony just always believed in her innocence from the beginning.
I wonder how much fan mail she would have gotten on death row. Guys that go on death row, they get all kinds of letters from women. I wonder if the guys would have been trying to connect with her.
Well, Loretta, I guess we'll never know. You've asked a question that we won't have an answer to. But it looks like she might do some small time. But this fucking girl, she could do short time like it's nothing.
Yeah, she'll do a year, get off in like 8 months, whatever.
Now, let's even go back to this. The 2 years that she's been hanging around in jail should be time spent, too.
Yeah, it could be time served, sure.
She may not get any time after this now.
And those other charges will be concurrent. Come on.
She'll see Christmas. And she's young. There's still enough time for her to have and kill another baby. There's going to be other babies out there for her. Here's Bruce. Bruce, you're on Ron Fez.
Ron, I called you last week when you had your lovely legal advisor, Jennifer Hudd, on. I told you they couldn't prove murder. They couldn't prove means, and they couldn't even prove opportunity, and I was talked down to like a dog, and I just called to gloat.
You know what? Jennifer Hutt apparently knows nothing about the legal system.
Jack squat.
The first thing I saw on it was this weekend. Was the last day. I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I never got to hear the defense attorneys at all. I just heard the rebuttal, which is strange to me. And we come back on HLN, who apparently have been doing this 24 hours a day. And they acted like those fucking prosecutors were geniuses who just did the most genius work that's ever been done.
Oh, congratulations, boys.
It is done. Look at it this way. She's never going to see the light of day again. That's how they talk on HLN. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a pause for you here. I can put it on Nancy Grace and just hold the phone up for you. I don't know why nobody's thought of that yet.
Well, my team doesn't like to move out of their seats, but I wish the hell I could listen to her go fucking batshit right now. I'm trying to get it taped at myself at home. Here's
here it is right here.
They come to that verdict that Casey Anthony was found not guilty of murder one, but the crowd disagrees strongly with that verdict. Nancy?
Well, I imagine that is going to be the sentiment across the country, but one thing is this. This is our jury system. When you strike those 12 jurors, you put them in the box, the jury box, you trust them to do the right thing. Something Baez said or did worked.
Hold on. Let's go back to this. These people didn't sign up for fucking jury duty, right? They were screened by both sides. It got brought into there to act like there's something now fucked up with the jury system and you should only be judged by HLN is insane. Even though I don't know if that's exactly what she was saying. But you have to say, here's 12 people who came to a unanimous fucking agreement within 24 hours of a very complex, batshit crazy case. The prosecution did not make their case. Here's Stuart. Stuart, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Stuart.
No, that's me.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I think she was guilty, but everybody's all upset and everything. This is the judicial system doing its job. I'd rather have 2 people in the last 30 years get off for almost obviously being on murder cases than like thousands of people being thrown in jail because we think or are 90% sure they did something. I mean, there wasn't enough information and the right thing was done.
There is a case that just got reopened in Washington about a guy who did a murder when he was 18 years old, and this guy is 71 right now.
Oh,
70
Jesus.
fucking 1. Here's the craziest thing. Supposedly, he was accused of killing a little girl that was 7 years old. He said, I'll give you a piggyback ride, took her off into the woods, killed her. He said, no, that couldn't have been me when that happened. I was on a train from Chicago to fucking wherever the hell the people out there go. Minneapolis or some dumb shit place. All these years later, an old girlfriend is looking at a picture in his frame, takes the picture out, the fucking train ticket falls out unused. I'm like, how many fucking producers are calling right now to get this story? They arrested the guy. He's 71. He's been fucking accused of abusing kids, even under his new name.
Holy shit.
Victor, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, guys, how you doing? The judge can always vacate the jury's decision if the judge feels the jury's decision is an error.
Well, he didn't.
Well, he may not have now, but he does have the opportunity to look the case over.
Dude, he's not... Seriously, can you imagine if he fucking attempted to do this? 12 fucking... You did this thing for months, and these fucking people don't get a chance... They haven't fucked in months. They weren't allowed to talk to their fucking family without the guards sitting there.
Jesus.
Here, pop us up there. Here, the place is going crazy. Apparently, the crowd outside is just distraught.
Basically,
the jury
what
came back with this verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah, tells us that jury went in there unconvinced and not convinced by the circumstantial case that the prosecution had presented them. The last time we saw a big circumstantial case like this with Scott Peterson, that turned out way differently. People came out of there hating him. This jury looked at the facts and apparently found the facts wanting.
Okay, now Holly Hughes sitting with me here. When you think about the evidence, what David just said, that the evidence came up short. All right, you did not think so initially, but why? Then explain what happened that the jury looked at this and said, nice try, but...
These people are going crazy. We think we found a Nancy Grace thing. She is basically doing this for a living right now.
15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder,
they just replaying it. We need a way of listening to that in the other room when she pops up again. G-Money, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, Ron?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, I'm a grown man with a vasectomy. Do you think it's safe for me to date this girl now that she's not guilty when I don't have to worry about kids? I'll take my question off air.
Why don't you ask your question off there? Louis, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to do a quick radio psychic here.
Okay.
I think that she may have sold the baby off to someone or pushed the baby off on someone, and that person killed her.
Oh, I think it would have come up. I think,
should have brought the person's name.
Yeah.
Shit.
They combed this case and then come up with jack shit. And you ought to give the fucking thing right now, in the world that we live in, the one person who believes in the innocence of the defendant. Let me change it. One person who believes in the innocence of a white defendant is our own Anthony Cumia. And he did a great job pulling out this one.
He's a treasure.
And he took on all comers. and he kind of standing there like Atticus Finch today. He's looking like one of the few people that could hold their head up proud today. I'm shocked. I thought the girl was going guilty.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get, she was just going to fucking be off the river.
And I know that because I saw almost 15 minutes of this.
Well, that's in depth.
It was the last 15 minutes. And I'm like, this bitch is so fucking dead. And why they were doing shit to her on the last part of the prosecution, she was just fucking shaking with Zito anger. She just had an underlying Zito anger, just like, I'll fucking kill you when I get out of here, bitch. And I hope she does. I hope she drowns some of the people that fucking she's angry with.
That'd be nice.
My prediction is now that I see her in her tux shirt, she's going to go Joan Jett on this whole deal. She's going to shave the head and start hanging out at WBA fucking basketball tournaments. And that is her right.
I will never forget the look on the prosecution's face as the camera went to them after the not guilty was announced. Already emails and phone calls are flying in saying, what's more shocking, this or the O.J. Simpson not guilty? And I got to tell you, I'm more stunned by this. Because in that case, the O.J. Simpson case, you had celebrity going for Simpson. You had the police kind of subject to attack. Out to Natisha Lance joining us. What do you think, Natisha? Did you observe all the people outside the courthouse just kind of milling around, stunned?
Okay, turn it down for a minute. Sorry the people outside the fucking courthouse don't get the opportunity to light their torches and carry this fucking girl off and burn her like a witch. But this is the jury system. You know, this isn't a hung jury. You know, there's not one or two jurors who didn't see this obvious fucking case that Nancy Grace did. 12 fucking people. And not saying that this woman was even an angel, since they gave her 4 different guilties for lying to the police. They just thought there never was a case against her. There's the, is this the defense team?
Yes.
Up and swinging. Kevin, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie B. Hey, do you think these prosecutors in this trial were star graduates of the Marcia Clark School of Law?
You know, it's very funny. In the case of these things, now suddenly, yesterday the prosecutors were geniuses. Today they're idiots.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Yesterday I heard, oh, what a great American this prosecutor is. He could be making 5 to 10 times more money if he worked in the private sector, but he cares about Florida. He cares about his community. And today he's a fucking retard. Matt, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron. Hey, it's just, I was shocked by this whole thing. I mean, I didn't really follow it, but I kind of just, looked at it on a face value. But I mean, she could live to be 100 years old, but she will always be a child killer when people hear her name or look at her. Or she'll never be able to escape this.
You know, this is what happens to anybody once they go in. You know, once you get accused of anything, some people will never pay attention to the end of it, you know? At the same time, she now has a certain amount of celebrity. She'll be able to sell her story.
I'll make bank on that.
Make some money. She'll start living La Vida Loca. She'll get real drunk and just yell out the truth one night, but it'll be in the middle of like 80 other lies, so we won't even take it in. Robert, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, I got to listen to a lot of this, and the prosecutors, it's almost like they bought into the media hype before the trial, and they overcharged this girl because they just didn't have the proof. I mean, murder one, that's a serious charge. I mean, you practically got to have video or a gun or fingerprints on the gun or something, and they never had it. And I think she'll be at Anthony's house by Saturday. What do you say?
I know she's invited.
All right, man.
Peace. Here's Mike. Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Anthony was right. She wasn't get murder one. She the prosecution just didn't have enough evidence. I'm shocked that Anthony was right.
By the way, it looks like the defense is hammering the fucking media right now. And from their point of view, they have every right to, because the media did, in fact. And I don't even, like I said, I've only finally gotten around to watching anything, because I was on grand jury during most of this case. But I had heard she did it, she's a killer, and I heard from people who saw it on TV. Other than Ant, I can't speak of too many people who 100% did not believe that this girl did this. And I know quite a few people that have been watching along with the trial and seeing this exactly differently than the jury did. Later, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, you think the family holds any resentment that she said that they molested her, or is that like a common thing in families? Like, if you get in trouble, just say you molested me, and everything's cool if I get off.
If you get off, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, there's no reason for families to be together to begin with. And there's going to be plenty of bank for everyone. Everyone's going to have a fucking book out of this deal. Well, the last thing you want to do is hold grudges. That's it for us. Loretta, we wish we got more time with you today.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Hicks?
Yes?
I got too much time with you and Zito today.
Sorry.
But we'll be back here tomorrow.